This is the big day, Super Tuesday the Americans call it, basically because 14 states across the country vote in that one single day in the nomination race. By the end of it, we may well have a good idea who will be going up against Donald Trump in November. At the moment, Bernie Sanders is the front runner, the clear front runner. And I think a few days ago you would have said that he stood a pretty good chance of really finishing off the whole thing on Tuesday. But now Joe Biden has come back from the dead. On Saturday, he won the South Carolina primary with a considerable margin. That puts him back in the race. He could dent Bernie Sanders' lead. It could come down to a two-horse race. But the key thing about this whole Super Tuesday idea is that the rest of the races are kind of spread out. New Hampshire here, Nevada, they kind of roll onto it, one over the other. On Super Tuesday, they're all voting all over the country. California, big state with lots of delegates. That's where Bernie Sanders will hope to really pin down his position. But Joe Biden is now the moderate's choice. He's painting himself as the voice of reason against Bernie Sanders, the left-wing socialist who wants a revolution. That's where the vote is going to be drawn. For instance, again, Joe Biden, as we saw in South Carolina, has pretty much got a lock on the black vote. That's put him back in the race. Bernie Sanders has a good youth following. He has a good following among the Latinos. They could really be decisive here. But the big thing is there are still a number of Democrats in this race. It's not just the two of them. It's been described as a kind of giant's Rubik cube. There's so many different varieties of results, winners, losers. This is not just a straight race of who wins what. Delegates come into it. The number of votes in each state are crucial to determine the final tally. One new factor in Super Tuesday that could really throw a spanner in the works: the entrance of Michael Bloomberg into the race. Up to now, he's kept a distance. He's not actually been on the ballot. But he's spent $500 million already on his campaign. That's without a vote being cast. On Super Tuesday, he will be on the ballot in 14 states. He could make a huge dent in the race. He could make a real mark, and he could present himself as the from-behind candidate. Equally, he could fail dismally, drop out of sight, and the whole thing will be lost. $500 million later. What we do know is he's putting himself up against Joe Biden effectively as the moderate candidate. That possibly could bite into Biden's following. It could make life more difficult for him and benefit Bernie Sanders. We can only wait and see. So we have this day, Super Tuesday. By Wednesday, I think we'll have a pretty good idea who will be winning. Will it be Bernie Sanders? Will he make the clear gap between the rest of the field that he really wants? Will it be Joe Biden, who puts him right back in there, where he hoped to be when this race started, up the front? We can only wait and see, but it should be fascinating.